In this video, we're going to give you a brief overview of the process involved in importing a piece of artwork that's been created in another design program, creating toolpaths from it, and also showing you a few basic edits towards the end of the video. This is a short version of a companion video which shows you the same process but with much more detailed explanations. The idea of this video is just to briefly work you through the process so that you can see how quick and easy it is for us to load the artwork and calculate the toolpaths. So let's begin by starting a new copy of the software, and we're going to come down and click on the icon to open an existing file. The type of file that we're going to open here is a DXF file. This is a vector design that's been created in another software package. Could have been drawn in something like AutoCAD, TurboCAD, Inkscape, CorelDRAW, Adobe Illustrator, or one of the many other CAD or art drawing programs that are available. Here we're going to select the DXF file, click on the Open button. Software will import that at its original size and position, and what we need to do is relate that to our piece of material. So I'm going to tell the software that I'm going to cut this from a 12-inch wide by 5-inch high piece that's going to be ½ an inch thick, and I'm going to ask the software just to remove the original offset that was applied to this based on where it was originally drawn. So what that will do is put the XY0 position in the lower left hand corner. Working in inches, so I can go ahead and hit OK. Now what I want to do is center this data in the middle of my material, so I'm going to drag a box around it to select it all, click on the icon to align this, and then click on the icon to align it both horizontally and vertically in the center of our workspace. And we'll just click in the background to deselect the vectors. So now we're ready to start calculating our toolpaths. I'm going to click on the icon here that will minimize the drawing tab and take us across to the toolpath icons. And then before we calculate any toolpaths, we should always check our material setup. So I'm going to come over and click on the Set button. Here we can see top of the block is set to Z0, thickness of the material is ½ an inch, the XY0 position is in the lower left hand corner, so I'm happy with my material reference positions based on how I'm going to set this part up on the machine. Then I need to check my rapid and home position. They all look like safe values, so now I can hit the OK button and we're ready to actually calculate the toolpath. So the first thing I need to do is to select the data that I would like to apply the toolpath to. So I'm just going to click and drag a box to pick all the vectors in the design, and then we're going to come up and click on the VCarve toolpath icon. I want the V-carving to start on the surface of the material, so the start depth here is going to be 0. We're going to select from the tool database a 90-degree ½ V-bit, and I'm just going to take the default speeds and feeds for this. If you were going to cut this, you would need to edit those to be suitable for your particular machine, material and setup. Because we're not doing a flat depth on this toolpath, we're going for a full V-carve. The middle section of the form is greyed out and I don't need to worry about it. All I need to do is come down to the bottom, give the toolpath an appropriate name, so I'll remember what this toolpath was applied to, and hit the calculate button. The software will automatically open the 3D view, and here you can see that that toolpath is being displayed in a virtual piece of material. These blue lines are the exact lines that the tool is going to follow when we execute this on the CNC machine. And also the software's automatically opened the Preview Toolpaths dialog here, so that we can go ahead and animate the toolpath and see exactly how it's going to look when we cut it. So within the preview, we just select the material we'd like to render our virtual block with. Here I'm just going to select Canadian Maple. I'm going to click on the button to preview selected toolpath. The software will go ahead and, taking into account the size and shape of the tool and the path that we calculated, it will animate exactly how the part should look when it's cut on the machine. As well as seeing the nice V shape of this and the type of detail that we're going to pick out, we could also help ourselves to see exactly what's being cut by shading the area that's being machined. We can do that by choosing a toolpath color here, and from the drop down list maybe I can choose the gold color, and then we can see the area that's being machined shaded in a color of our choice. If I'm happy with the way that looks, I would go ahead and hit close, and then I would just come up and click on the button to save the toolpath. From within here, we just choose a post-processor that's appropriate to our particular machine or to our control software. In this case, I've just chosen to output this as standard G-code. What that's going to do is format that toolpath in a particular way so that your machine can understand it. Once I've chosen the right post-processor, I won't need to do that again for future toolpaths. Now I would just click on the Save button, we'd put in a name, and that file that we saved there we could put across a network or onto a memory stick in order to execute that on the CNC machine. So you've seen how quick and easy it was for us to import this data, create a toolpath for it to save to run on the CNC machine. In many cases though, you may also want to make changes to the design. So let's just give you an example of some of the tools that are available within the software to do that. To close the Save Toolpaths form, I'm going to come back over to the design side of the software, so we're going to click on the icon to switch from the toolpaths back to the drawing tab, and I'm going to go back into the 2D view where we have our vectors that we imported. I'm going to click to deselect, and then I'm just going to click the inner rectangle here and hit delete on the keyboard to get rid of that. I'm going to select this outer rectangle and I'm going to change the size of it. So I'm going to come over and click on the icon to set selected object size. I don't want to link this when I scale it, so I'm going to uncheck link XY, and I'm just going to type in a value of 11 by 4 inches and hit apply. So that's 1 inch smaller than the overall size of the part, which is going to effectively give us a ½ inch border around this. Next, what I'd like to do is just put some radiuses in the corner of my rectangle. So I'm going to use the fillet tool here, and I'm going to enter a radius of 1 inch, putting in regular fillets, and I just come over each corner and click on them in order to create these radiuses between two straight lines. Now I can hit close. I can select that vector we've created there. I'm going to click on the offset selected vectors icon, and I'm going to offset that inwards by a value of 0.2, hit the offset button and close. And so there you can see we've just made an edit to that border shape. We changed its size, we put the radius in the corners, and we offset it. Now what we can do is come back over to the Toolpaths tab. So I'm going to click on the icon here again, and I want to edit the toolpath that we created before. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to click on the button here to edit toolpaths. And you can see the new vector we created I need to add into the selection. So I'm going to hold shift down, click on it, and hit the calculate button. That will recalculate the toolpath based on the new vectors we have selected. We've come back into the 3D view and the preview, so I can click on the button to reset the preview. I can now click on the button to preview my new toolpath that we've created, and there you can see the result of our edits. And again, we'd be able to close that and hit the save button, and then we'd be ready to machine this on the CNC. So that completes this brief overview example where we looked at the process involved with importing some vector data that was designed in another program, applying a toolpath to it, and also at the end there making some simple edits to the part. There is a companion tutorial to this where we go through exactly the same example but in much more detail and with more depth of explanation at each stage. So if you're interested in learning exactly how to complete this particular example, would recommend watching that video.